Staff, Management, and Parent Company of KFBK.
The following program is a paid promotion sponsored by Peak Financial Freedom Group. Welcome to another edition of the Peak Financial Freedom Hour, where we put the focus on retirement and how to get the most out of our financial lives. Today's show will focus on reducing risk, cutting fees, maximizing income, and making sure you can make it through retirement with confidence in your plan. Your hosts are Jim Files and Dan Ahmed of Peak Financial Freedom Group. They are your go-to resource in Northern California for financial education and guidance. They're the authors of several successful books about financial planning, most recently Mama's Secret Recipe for Retirement Success, co-written with Jack Canfield of Chicken Soup for the Soul fame, which sold more than 500 million copies worldwide. Jim and Dan work exclusively with retirees and those of you nearing retirement. And today, they're going to help you sort through the complexities of the financial world and blaze a clear path ahead. Here's Jim Files and Dan Ahmed. This is the Peak Financial Freedom Hour.
Hi, Jim Files here at Peak Financial Freedom Group. And we're trying to give you a lot of education on this show. It's what we do. We feel the more educated you are, the better financial decisions you're going to make. And unlike a lot of other people out there who are stating and just work with one financial instrument, so many people, advisors out there, are just in the stock market investments and portfolio investments. So many other people are just out there selling and slinging annuities. And we don't think either one of those is right. We think the proper way to invest and allocate your money is to first find out what it is you want your money to do for you specifically. And that could take a while. And be specific about what we want the money to do for you now, in the future, for your beneficiaries, charities, etc. And then develop a plan that by allocating assets into different buckets, we have a high probability of helping you attain those goals. And when you talk about allocation and investing money, a lot of times clients will say, one, diversified. I have these 34, 40 different funds or stocks. My advisors put me in and they say, we're diversified and I have less risk and I have a great opportunity for growth. Well, a couple things. Last year in 2022, when you look at how many diversified portfolios did, you probably lost somewhere between 20 and 25%, maybe more if you were tech heavy. The second is when you have that type of allocated portfolio, you probably are diluting your rate of return, because I think it was last show, Jim, you talked about how when you look at the NASDAQ and the S&P, there's about 12 stocks that literally drive 90% of the stock market. When you're that diversified, like we just talked about in a portfolio, you probably are decreasing your rate of return. So let's talk about what we have created in our 3 buckets of money. And there's been a lot of people that have copied us, and they try to state their own 3 buckets of money. But ours is completely unique and different in that our 3 buckets act completely different than any of the buckets. So bucket 1 acts completely different than bucket 2, than bucket 3. And none of them do the same thing, which is what allows us to now completely customize the plan. It's almost like a recipe. It's like, assume that you're going to bake something and you have to put in some milk, you have to put in some eggs, and you have to put in some flour. And depending on how much of each of those you put in, you could be baking a hard scone, or you could bake a really soft sponge cake, right? So depending on what it is you want your money to do for you, we now can allocate using the 3 buckets.
Yeah, and the 3 buckets is it's about behavior. How do these assets behave in good and bad markets? How do these assets behave when it comes to income generation? How do these assets behave when the market goes down? How do these assets behave when the market goes up? So it's about behavior. So what we have to define, again, we keep on telling you, you as a consumer that are listening, you have to define what you want your money to do for you. And if you're 30 or 40, your reasoning behind what you want your money to do for you is completely different if you're 60 or 70. So right now, if you're in your car listening, you're driving around, ask yourself, if you're getting ready to retire, or retired, what do you want your money to do for you right now? Is it for income? Do you need more income? Is it risk? Are you concerned about losing money if the market goes down? What about your kids? Are you concerned about your kids? Are you concerned about inflation and how inflation is going to impact your income over a long period of time and how that'll affect your budget? Are you concerned about taxes? Are you concerned about Social Security? All these things become concerns as you get closer to retirement. And what we do for you, we help you to categorize these concerns and start to narrow them down with priorities. What's priority number 1? What's priority number 2? What's priority number 3? What's priority number 4? And once we start to develop these priorities, these become your own goals, then we can decide how to place the money.
Well, I'm going to say, whoa, big fella. Let's go back to step one and look at exactly what you're talking about, because so many people, they want to take control like you're talking about, but they don't know how to even take step one, right? So you just laid out step 1 through 4, which is very understandable, but if you don't feel comfortable, it's almost like they're lost. So let's just go back to the simple basic one that people all have to look at, and that is, how do you want your retirement to feel? It's on what you want your money to do for you, but more importantly is, how much money do you need on a monthly basis to live a comfortable retirement, where you don't have to worry about the money coming in? And that all centers on one thing that we have every single client go through, and we help them with it, and it doesn't take that long at all, and that's called a budget. Now, when you talk about the B word, very few advisors talk a lot about the budget, and very few are extensive experts in the budget. We have developed our whole planning methodology around a target, and our target will always be the budget. So we're going to have something to aim at the entire time. What's your current advisor aiming at? Guaranteed it's not your budget.
No.
It's not your budget.
No.
So we have to find out how much money on a monthly basis you need to not worry about it. Not a tight budget like you had when you were 20 years old, but what is the golden budget? Let's call it the golden budget. How much do you need right now each month to pay for every single thing you want and need, including all the trips you want to take? And if you have that amount of money coming in, net of taxes, each month, would you worry? And you probably wouldn't. So that's why you first then, Jim, in that what you just talked about, which is everything you said was right, but if we focus on one little baby step and nothing else, if we focus just on the budget, and then we build a plan around how we can now help them achieve and exceed their budget, what happens to their life?
All of a sudden they start to understand their money much better, right? They start to understand their goals. They start to identify now putting a process in place so that they can get to retirement safely, securely, without worrying as much. And if you identify your budget, which will help you do that, we have a real simple form, a real simple process, and we can sit down with you in less than a half an hour. In most cases, we have a budget form. Then we have to consider, okay, this is the budget today, but is that budget going to change in the future? Will you pay your house off in 15 years? Are you going to downsize? Maybe you have a child still at home. Are they going to move out? There's other things that have to be considered. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at how inflation is going to impact that budget. Do you have long-term care insurance? Not just medical insurance. Do you have long-term care insurance? In most cases,
they are not talking the same language about their money. Typically, one of them, maybe the husband, deals with the investment. Typically, the other one, maybe the wife, deals with the monthly budget. And they talk about completely two separate things. One is talking about aggressive growth. The other is talking about something conservative, that they want income coming in to make sure the budget isn't screwed up on a monthly basis. So guess what? They're completely talking different languages, and they get upset at each other. It's frustrating. Money is one of the number one reasons people get divorces and have issues in their marriage. So what if now instead we actually have the spouses talk the same language about their money? What if now the assets and the budget are now all part of one plan, and the assets are only invested with the number one goal of making sure we can meet and exceed the budget? How does that now sound to a couple, where the assets are going to be used to create the maximum success to give them the desired lifestyle they want throughout retirement for as long as they live?
well, yeah, and the budget, if you look at that as the pivot point, right? It's the baseline of a basketball court. It establishes exactly, where the ball comes in. You have to establish that, because without a budget, you don't know how much risk you should take. You don't know where your income's going to come from, how much income do you need. You can't establish anything without a budget, Dan.
Well, think about how many people ask, how much money do I need at retirement? And they have no idea. You will know how much money you need with a budget. Jim, for years, most of the listeners, they've saved and invested building up their retirement nest egg, and they think the job's done.
Well, yeah, because they build a portfolio and not a plan. And if you're listening today, how will you manage your Irish and 401ks to provide income that won't run out? Do you know how to reduce your taxes and risk?
Well, those are just a few of the issues. We help clients plan for every day so they won't fail in retirement, because that's their fear. So why don't we do something special for the listeners?
That sounds good. We will create a free comprehensive retirement game plan for you. It's called our Peak Financial Worry-Free Retirement Roadmap.
Well, right now, most people listening think their IRA, their 401ks, even their portfolios, it's what makes up their retirement plans. But these are just their assets, and they go up and down, but they need to be part of an actual written comprehensive plan.
You know, Dan, to be clear, we're talking about a comprehensive plan built specifically for each listener, addressing challenges with IRAs, 401ks, income, risk, taxes, and Social Security.
Well, Jim, we've seen this type of customized plan. It can cost people thousands of dollars, but we're going to do it for free. Our typical client has saved at least $1 million for retirement, but if you save $500,000 or more, schedule your free confidential consultation by dialing pound 250 on your cell phone and save the keyword money.
You know, Dan, we believe a free retirement is
available from a local resource, Peak Financial Freedom Group. For decades, Jim and Dan have acted as fiduciaries building written plans for their clients. If you save $500,000 or more for retirement, call right now for your free, no-obligation consultation, second opinion, and written retirement income plan. You may also qualify to receive a free signed copy of their Amazon best-selling book and a free $100 Amazon gift card. Call right now for your free consultation and to find out if you qualify. Simply dial pound 250 on your cell phone, and when prompted, say the keyword money. Again, dial pound 250 keyword money. That's pound 250 keyword money.
This promotion was paid for and sponsored by Peak Financial Freedom Group. Investment advisory services are offered through Fiduciary Solutions LLC, a California registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services are offered through PFFG Insurance Agency LLC, California Insurance License Number 0144013.
Hi there, it's Christina from my friends at Northwest Exteriors. And you know what? It is Duke's Dog Days of Summer event at Northwest Exteriors. Duke knows how hot it gets, and that's why he's bringing you this exclusive promotion. New windows and siding from Northwest Exteriors to keep the hot air out and keep your energy bills down. Right now, save up to $1,000 on your new window project and up to $1,000 for a new siding project. 3-window minimum on a first credit. Plus, take advantage of the special financing offer with 0% interest for up to 18 months. Upgrade your home's exterior without worrying about interest fees. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Duke's Dog Days of Summer event going on right now at Northwest Exteriors. Call 888-TRUST-NW, 888-TRUST-NW, or trustnorthwest.com. Are a crowd pleaser. Find them at your local Save Mart in Lucky, California. Redbird Farm Chicken. What real chicken tastes like. Grill it, fry it, put it in farm. As long as you make it Redbird Farm.
Everybody knows Jackson's where you go for the best casino action. Spin Uncle Sam's Winning Week for a chance at winning iPads, chips, and other great prizes. Just play your favorite table games with the rewards card, noon to 5 p.m. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and you may be spinning Uncle Sam's Winning Week. It's red, it's white, it's cash at Jackson. You could win up to $5,000 cash just by playing your favorite slots with your rewards card every Friday and Saturday in July, 7 to 10 p.m.
This is the Vista Point
Jackson Rancheria
I just saw the
Casino
network
Resort,
sewer, but I
located in
can't go
beautiful
there
Amador
because
County.
of course behind me.
Let's go. Great news. Shingrix Zoster Vaccine Recombinant Adjuvanted is now $0 for almost everyone.
Shingrix is $0 for
Still
almost
cold, that's
everyone.
Yeah.
What about for people with Medicare Part D?
Yes. Shingrix is now $0 for people with Medicare Part D.
What about privately insured people?
Yes. Shingrix is now $0 for 95% of privately insured people.
Then I'll need to ask my doctor or pharmacist about Shingrix today.
See Shingrix.com for details. Sponsored by GSK.